Good morning. Good morning to our guests and to our audience. May I please have your attention as we have the presenting of our United States colors from the U.S. Army Human Resources Command Ceremonial Honor Guard.
Colors. Present. Off.
At this time, we will have the national anthem sung by John Hardin Sr. and Heartland alumni, Chanel Dalpino.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please remain standing for our Pledge of Allegiance. Attention. Thank you.
Forward. March.
Welcome again to our 2017-2018 Veterans Day program. We want to welcome our special guests and our visitors and our veterans sitting on the floor today. We thank you again for being here. Most importantly, we thank you for your time and dedication that you've given to our country. At this time, as we recognize all veterans, we would also like to recognize the various military branches with our Armed Forces salute.
As you are aware, the military cast is filled with symbolism. As you enter this morning, you may have noticed a small table in place of honor in front of you. This table is to remember those who answered the call, but for whatever reason, failed to return. This is our way of symbolizing the fact that members of our profession of arms are missing from our midst. They are commonly called POW, MIA. We call them comrades. The hats from each of the services, Army, Marines, Navy, Air Force, and Coast Guard, remind us of the unity of purpose shared by our comrades in arms. This table, set for one, is small, symbolizing the frailty of one prisoner alone against his oppressors. The tablecloth is white, symbolizing the purity of their intentions to respond to their country's call to arms. The single rose, displayed in a vase, reminds us of the families and loved ones of the comrade in arms who keep the faith awaiting their return. The red ribbon. On the vase is a reminiscent of the red ribbon worn upon the breast of thousands who bear witness to their determination to demand a proper accounting of the missing. There is salt upon the bread plate, symbolic of the family's tears as they await their loved one's return. A slice of lemon is on the plate to remind us of their bitter fate. The glass. The glass is inverted. They cannot toast with us. The chair. The chair is empty. They are not here. The single lit candle reminds us of the eternal flame of life. May the memory of our fallen comrade be with us always. The Honor Guard member will now render a salute in honor of all POW MIAs. Please rise for a moment of silence as we remember those who are absent today as prisoners of war or missing in action. To those who served so honorably, who were lost or are still unaccounted for.
At this time, we have some veterans that could not be here. They are either servicing in other states or perhaps other countries. These are either staff members or they are also maybe family members of staff members or either of students. So at this time, we have a special PowerPoint that we would like to share with you that was put together by our very own media specialist, Crystal. Have one last special treat in store for you in regards to singing. At this time, we have our very special song that we would like to sing to all the veterans in the gym this morning. God Bless the USA by Heartland students and staff. So at this time, sit back and enjoy. And again, thank you for your service and dedication to our country.
Children and my life. I thank my lucky stars.
All right, Colonel Chitwood, see if you can follow that. I know, it's hard. And I can't look at some of the staff members right now because their eyes aren't dry, so I won't look at you, okay? No, it is with much honor that I get to introduce Colonel Mark Chitwood. He's an active U.S. Army Reserve officer currently serving in the U.S. Army Human Resources Command, Command Inspector General, Fort Knox, Kentucky, following recent service as a battalion commander. He grew up in the rural PD community near Honeywell, Missouri, enlisting in the Missouri Army National Guard 3 weeks after his 17th birthday. In 1994, he commissioned as a distinguished military graduate, branching military police from Wentworth Military Academy, and has since served as an active status for 22 years. His deployments include Kosovo in 1999 and 4 of the 5 Iraq campaigns from 2003 to 2010, with duties as 3rd U.S. Army Provost Marshal Operations Officer, 3rd Iraqi Motorized Transportation Regiment Embedded Advisor, and 336th Military Police Battalion, S3. His awards and decorations include the Combat Action Badge, Parachutist Badge, Bronze Star, Joint Medals, and several foreign badges to include the Holland 4-Day Event Cross and the German Armed Forces Proficiency Badge. Colonel Chitwood holds an associate's degree from Wentworth Military Academy, bachelor's in criminal justice from Sam Houston State University, master's in public administration from Jacksonville State University, master's in military arts and science from the U.S. Army Command and General Staff College, and a master's in strategic studies from the U.S. Army War College. Most importantly, he has been married for 18 years to his lovely wife, Tiffany, and they have 3 beautiful daughters, which I'm proud to say, Macy, who's a graduate of Heartland Elementary, who's 14, Maddie and Marley, who both attend Heartland Elementary at this time. I am very proud and honored to welcome to the podium Colonel Mark Chitwood. Give him a round of applause, please.
So thank you, Ms. Campbell, for that. Appreciate the introduction and the invite to come speak on such a distinguished group of folks to represent the fine men and women of our services in the community. I think dating back to the Korean conflict, we have represented on the floor out here. It's always such a great showing and such a great professional presentation when I've come out here. Also would like to, got to give another shout out, or else I'll never hear about it at home. Maddie, Marley, Macy, my mom, and the hardest working PTO president in Hardin County, my beautiful wife of almost 19 years, Tiffany, and who puts up with all my adventures that we'll be talking about today. Also want to recognize the Human Resources Command Ceremonial Honor Guard. They are the envy of the Army, and they put on a class act every time they do this. They have day jobs, like we all do, but they volunteer to spend the time to do this, to come out here and put on such a presentation. So let's give a round of applause for our Honor Guard, please. Believe me, they have more to come, so you'll get to see that. So when I thought about what we'd talk about during the Veterans Day speech, especially for elementary school, you can go in a lot of different directions. But most people are familiar with the conventional warfare aspects of what we do when we deploy. But one of the great joys for all my deployments, and I'm sure many on the floor, has included some form of community outreach wherever we're at. More specifically, each of my 5 deployments has included sponsoring a local school, typically an elementary school with kids your age. Kids like the ones pictured behind me, if you can see that. This picture was taken in southern Iraq, somewhere between Al-Naziriyah and Al-Najaf. You can look that up on the map sometime when you get back. Shortly after the invasion in 2003, a country where I'm sure several in this room have served. I shaved my head the day we invaded in March, so you can tell how soon this picture was taken after that. However, it did grow in a bit thicker back then. So I handed my disposable camera, which I've had to explain that to my daughters because people don't use disposable cameras anymore. But I handed it to the kids so they could take some random pictures, pictures I would not have been able to take, otherwise have been able to do so. It was a fun exchange. They asked me if I'd met Britney Spears or Arnold Schwarzenegger, and to their disappointment, I had not. They had heard of Los Angeles, California, and they had heard of New York, but not Honeywell, Missouri, where I'm from. And I'd returned to Iraq a couple of times after the invasion in '03. And in 2009, we sponsored an elementary school in Baghdad. Now, in general terms, Baghdad is where the country's elite have lived for years. So you would expect their schools to be a bit better than most throughout the rest of the country. We would try to help in any way we can, as it was a welcome distraction from some of the other stuff that we were doing. But let me read to you some of the requests we received from that Baghdad school we partnered with. Replace the broken glass in our windows so rain and snow doesn't blow in and we can stay warm in the winter. Fill in the hole full of rebar in our playground so the kids don't have to worry about falling in it and getting hurt. Provide any supplies you can, especially paper and pencil, so we can practice writing and arithmetic. Provide some security so we can attend school without fear. And ask the police academy next to us not to conduct firing ranges while we're in class. We have to put the kids down for a nap when they shoot, since some of the gunfire hits our building as it goes over the short wall that separates us. Now, can you imagine going to a school like that? I'll come back to that story in a moment, but first, a bit about Veterans Day itself. As many of you know, since Heartland Elementary does such a fantastic job educating y'all about this day, because I hear about it every day when the kids come home, we as a nation celebrate Veterans Day on the anniversary of the armistice that ended the First World War. The war to end all wars, as it was ironically known. On the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, the battlefields of war-torn Europe finally fell silent as more than 4 years of unfathomable destruction came to an end. That tradition has since broadened to include all veterans and all conflicts. We veterans serve to defend this great social experiment we now call the United States of America, which is built upon the premise that we are all created equal and independent, blessed with inalienable rights, that among them are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Individual rights that can only be fully realized with the associated responsibilities. Which brings me back to my story. So why does the school in Baghdad have anything to do with Veterans Day, you might ask? Because the best way to thank a vet is to take advantage of the countless opportunities available to you. Opportunities most kids throughout the world don't get. More specifically, you don't have to worry about being cold and wet in school, like the ones in Baghdad. So take the time to learn in this comfortable environment. You don't have to worry about an unsafe playground. So be sure to exercise during the time provided throughout the day. You don't have to worry about supplies. So take advantage of the countless resources offered to enhance your learning experience. You don't have to worry about security. So come to school energized to expand your horizons. Look for opportunities to learn something new. As Abraham Lincoln once said, you cannot escape the responsibility of tomorrow by evading it today. In words more familiar to Heartland Bulldogs, be respectful, be responsible, and be ready to do your best. Now I want to close with a few comments about our nation's flag, as it only seems appropriate to do so as part of a Veterans Day ceremony, and it's great to see him in the stands today too. When this photo behind me was taken, my team was literally driving through South Iraq with a paper map. We would enter a city, we'd point at the flag on our right sleeve, and the local Iraqis would direct us to the U.S. troops in that area. It was a bit chaotic at that time, but our flag, a universally recognized symbol of our great nation, broke through all language and cultural barriers. It's literally how the locals knew what we were looking for and how we're able to locate our fellow comrades in arms, primarily U.S. Marines in the 1st MEP, this particular area. It's the version of the same flag veterans have carried into battle and fought behind for more than 2 centuries, picking it up and moving it forward if ever it should fall. The same flag that symbolizes national unity, pride, and duty, duty to one's nation over comfort for oneself. Recently, throughout society, this same flag has become quite the discussion point, especially on Sunday afternoons. So I think it's important that you understand what our nation's flag means to those who fight in the name of it, wherever it might go.
When observing an honor guard during the folding of the flag, you may notice how the meticulous process results in the flag being folded 13 times. You may have thought this symbolized the original 13 colonies. However, each step has a separate and very distinct meaning. The first fold of our flag is a symbol of life. The second fold represents the 50 states of the United States of America. The third fold is made in honor and remembrance of the veterans departing our ranks who gave a portion of their lives for the defense of our country to attain peace throughout the world. The fourth fold represents loyalty. These are the times that try men's souls. The summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will in the crisis shrink from the service of their country, but he that stands it now deserves the love and thanks of man and woman. Thomas Paine. The fifth fold is a tribute to our country, for in the words of Stephen Decatur, our country, in dealing with other countries, may she always be right, but it is still our country, right or wrong. The sixth fold is for where our hearts lie. It is with our heart that we pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The seventh fold is a tribute to our armed forces, for it is through the armed forces that we protect our country and our flag against all her enemies, whether they be found within or without the boundaries of our republic. The eighth fold is a tribute to selfless service. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. John Fitzgerald Kennedy. The ninth fold is a tribute to womanhood, for it has been through their faith, their love, loyalty, and devotion that the character of the men and women who have made this country great has been molded. The 10th fold is a tribute to the Father, for he too has given his sons and daughters for the defense of our country since they were first born. The 11th fold is inscribed on the Statue of Liberty, Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuse of your teeming shore, send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. The 12th fold represents equality. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. We are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The 13th and final fold, or when the flag is completely folded, the stars are uppermost, reminding us of our nation's motto, "In God we trust." After the flag is completely folded and tucked in, it takes on the appearance of a cocked hat, ever reminding us of the soldiers who served under General George Washington and the sailors and Marines who served under Captain John Paul Jones, who were followed by their comrades and shipmates in the armed forces of the United States, preserving for us the rights, privileges, and freedoms we enjoy today.
On behalf of the faculty, staff, and students here at Heartland Elementary, again, we want to thank you, Colonel Chitwood, for being here today. We want to thank the veterans. We would like to invite you to a brief reception that we have for you in our cafeteria. Again, we want to thank you for your time and dedication and the service that you've given our country. We greatly appreciate you. Thank you and have a great week.